Have you ever felt like you're disconnected from yourself, like you're living on autopilot, just reacting to the world around you, without really to feel? What are you experiencing? As if something inside you were asleep, waiting for the right moment to awaken. If this question touched you in any way, take a deep breath now, because this conversation can change everything. Today, I will show you how to awaken your feminine energy in an authentic, powerful, and profound way, not that idealized image that they place on us, but your real, living, and vibrant essence, which may have been silenced by pressures, fears, or simply the fast pace of life. There are no magic formulas or empty promises here. What you will discover is a true path of reconnection, of internal transformation, of rediscovering what you truly want. It really is. And it starts now, with you choosing to be here, present, open, and curious. This is your moment to come home, within yourself. So before we dive into this journey, comment below the word wake up if you are ready to reconnect with your inner power. This simple gesture is already the first step to saying to the universe, I'm ready. Let's go together? Because this is not just another conversation. It's the beginning of a return for you. I remember a phase in my life when everything seemed too much. It was as if I had become a machine for doing, delivering, pleasing. I would wake up with my mind racing, my heart pounding, trying to balance. Work, home, commitments, family, goals, self-demands, all at the same time. I would look in the mirror and see someone tired, without a sparkle in their eyes, someone who was there on the outside, but completely absent on the inside. And the craziest thing is that apparently everything was fine. I would do my tasks, smile in photos, say everything's fine to anyone who asked. But inside, something was screaming silently. It was as if, with each new attempt to handle everything, I distanced myself even further from myself. I felt like I was being sucked, drained, as if my vital energy was being distributed to the whole world, except for me. And the worst part is that I thought that was just how it was, that this was the price of being strong, of being a woman, of being a warrior. I had bought into this idea that we have to handle everything with a smile on our face, and it was slowly killing me. That's when I discovered the power of feminine energy, and how it had been dormant within me. It wasn't an instant awakening, nor something too mystical. It was a reminder, a call, almost as if my essence was asking me to return. I began to realize that I was living entirely in masculine mode, action, control, performance, logic. Everything had to be rational, productive, efficient. But what about feeling? What about allowing? What about listening to myself? I no longer gave myself that space. And when I finally began to delve into this other energy, it was like opening a secret door within me. Feminine energy is not about fragility. It's about strength with lightness, wisdom with intuition, leadership with empathy. It's about allowing yourself to be before doing. And that completely changed the way I live, relate, work, and take care of myself. It was a reconnection with a part of me that had always been there, but that I had ignored for so long in the name of standards, pressures, and expectations that were never really mine. And that's why I'm here today, sharing this with you, because I know that many women experience exactly this exhaustion disguised as competence, this emptiness in the chest camouflaged by a busy schedule. And it doesn't have to be this way. There is a path back to you, to your essence, to your truth. And it all starts with your choice to listen to yourself. If you've ever felt this way too, overwhelmed, disconnected, as if you'd lost yourself, comment below. Me too. Let's create a network of awakened women in the comments, a community where vulnerability is not weakness, but rather a starting point for something much greater. Because together, when one awakens, everyone becomes enlightened. This is the strength of the feminine, circular, intuitive, welcoming. And this strength is within you now, just waiting for a space to emerge. So stay with me until the end of this video, because what comes next will show you how to reconnect with this energy in a practical, real, and deeply transformative way. Now, that you understand the importance of this awakening, let's delve deeper into what it really means. Feminine energy, and how it connects to something that I, like Carol Dweck, call growth mindset. Feminine energy is not just about gender or old stereotypes about what a woman should be. No, it goes far beyond that. Feminine energy is an internal state, an energetic quality that we all have, but that we often leave dormant because we live in a fast-paced, competitive world that is extremely focused on doing, on results, on control. Feminine energy is linked to receptivity, intuition, sensitivity, self-care, creativity, and flow. It is that part of you that feels, welcomes, observes, nourishes, creates, connects with the present and with others from a place of presence and authenticity. When you reconnect with this energy, you not only feel more alive and whole, but you also start to make decisions that are more aligned with your heart and less with external pressure or internal fears. This is where the concept of growth mindset. Many women think that if they weren't born intuitive, sensitive, or connected to this more feminine side, then they're not like that. And that's it. But that's not true. The growth mindset says exactly the opposite. Everything can be developed. You may not have been taught to look at yourself, to honor your cycles, to respect your emotions, or to listen to your intuition, but you can learn. You can cultivate these skills are just like cultivating a new language, a new talent, a new habit. Feminine energy is a muscle, and the more you exercise it, with rituals of presence, with conscious pauses, with internal listening, with creative movements, with real and consistent self-care practices, the stronger it becomes. And this force is neither aggressive nor forced. It is a gentle but powerful force, like water. It surrounds, it feels, it penetrates, it transforms. And do you know what's most beautiful about this? It's that you don't need to become someone else. You just need to go back to being yourself, the woman you already are, but who perhaps you've forgotten how to feel. And if all this is making sense to you now, if your heart is beating faster, just imagining what it would be like to live with more lightness, more connection, more authenticity, then comment below with the word growth. I read all the comments with affection, and I love knowing who I'm connecting with in this process, because this exchange between us is exactly what feeds this energy that we're cultivating together here. This is the safe space where you can allow yourself to be who you are, without masks, without perfection, just presence. And this is just the beginning. We still have a lot to explore about how to awaken this woman who feels, who creates, who leads with her heart, who listens to herself, who respects herself, and who no longer asks for permission to shine. Stay with me, because in the next section, I'll show you practical ways to integrate this energy into your daily life, even with a busy routine, even with challenges, even with everything you carry. The transformation begins within, and you've already started. And now that you've begun to awaken this awareness about your feminine energy and how it can be cultivated, it is essential to look honestly at the blocks that prevent you from accessing it fully. Because yes, even when the desire for change exists, there are also internal forces, often invisible, silent, and deeply rooted, that sabotage this reconnection. One of the main saboteurs is the constant comparison. We live immersed in a world where social media has become a showcase for perfect lives, impeccable routines, and women who can do it all. And without realizing it, we start to measure ourselves by unattainable standards. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, why can't I be like her? Am I behind? This type of thinking, besides being unfair, disconnects us from our own rhythm, our authenticity, our intuition. And this disconnection is exactly the opposite of feminine energy. When comparison comes in, connection goes out. When demands scream, inner listening goes silent. and what's left is the feeling of insufficiency, as if nothing you do is enough to make you feel whole. Another deep blockage is the excess productivity. We are educated to believe that our value lies in how much we produce, how much we give, how much we sacrifice for others. This logic is all based on masculine energy, which is also important, but which alone unbalances us. How many times have you caught yourself feeling guilty for resting? Have you ever had the feeling that if you stop, everything will fall apart? That if you don't do it, no one will? This hyperproductivity is masked as competence, but often hides a wound of unworthiness, of fear of not being loved or recognized if you are not doing something useful. But feminine energy needs space. It needs a break. It needs to be listened to. It needs gentleness. And how are you going to connect with your essence if you are always rushing, if you are always exhausted, if you don't even have time to take a deep breath and ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? It is in this silence, in this conscious rest, that intuition flourishes, that ideas emerge, that the body aligns itself, that the soul whispers. And last, but perhaps the quietest of all, the fear of appearing weak by being vulnerable. How many times have you held back tears because it wasn't the right time? How many times have you felt something strong inside you, but swallowed it hard, smiled and moved on? We live in a culture that glorifies emotional control, but devalues emotional truth. But feeling is not weakness. Feeling is wisdom. Feeling is a portal. Your vulnerability is a direct bridge to your feminine energy. It is through it that you get to know yourself, transform yourself, connect. When you allow yourself to feel, you allow yourself to live. So tell me, do you feel guilty about taking a break? Do you have trouble saying no? Are you afraid of disappointing others if you choose yourself? If these questions resonate with you, if they gave you a lump in your throat or a tightness in your chest, comment below with the word "He arrives." Because yes, enough of carrying expectations that are not yours. Enough of nullifying yourself to fit into small places. Enough of silencing your inner voice. It's time to free yourself from these pressures and make peace with who you really are. Stay with me, because the next part of the video will show you how to break these patterns and make space in a practical and conscious way for your feminine energy to flow with lightness, presence, and real power. Now that we have addressed the internal blockages that are limiting the flow of your feminine energy, it is time to make the most important move. Return to the body, to feeling, to the present. Because awakening this energy is not something theoretical. It is a living, everyday practice, and you don't need big rituals, expensive trips, or free time in your schedule. Just a small space of 10 minutes a day with intention, with presence, and with truth. And to help you get started, I want to introduce you to some simple but profoundly transformative practices. The first of these is intuitive dance. No, it's not a choreography. There's no mirror, there's no technique. It's just you, a song that touches you. It can be something light, tribal, sensual, soft, whatever makes sense to you. And your body free to express itself. Put on the music, close your eyes and let your body guide the movement. Let go of control. It's not about beauty, it's about liberation. It's about taking off your armor and returning to inhabit your body with pleasure, with presence. This practice has the power to unlock emotions, release accumulated tension, and most importantly, reconnect you with your sensuality, your instinctive strength, your natural vitality. Another powerful practice is the intuitive journaling. Write freely as a way to listen to your soul. You can do this in the morning or before bed. Get a nice notebook, something that's just yours, and write down everything that comes to mind. You can start with a question like, what am I feeling right now? What does my body need today? Or simply write without a filter, letting the words flow like a conversation with yourself. Don't worry about grammar, logic, or coherence. This isn't about writing well, it's about writing truthfully. You'll be surprised at what emerges when you give voice to your thoughts without judgment. Journaling helps you slow down your mind, identify emotional patterns, and recognize your real needs and desires. It's a way to observe yourself, to take care of yourself, to create intimacy with yourself. And when you combine this with your intention to reconnect with your feminine energy, it becomes a ritual of healing and clarity. You begin to hear the woman who exists behind the routine, the roles, the masks. You begin to remember who you are. And to close this trio of practices, I invite you to try the guided meditation focusing on feminine energy. There are several available for free on platforms such as YouTube or meditation apps, and you can search for audios that include visualizations, affirmations, and conscious breathing focused on the feminine. Choose a quiet moment, sit comfortably, close your eyes, and allow yourself to simply receive. Just breathe, feel, welcome. Many of these meditations lead you to visualize yourself as a whole woman, connected to your intuition, your inner strength, your cyclical and sacred essence. And the most beautiful thing is that, over time, this stops being just a mental image and starts to become your new reality. Because when you repeat, with love and presence, you reprogram your body and mind for a new way of existing. And that is what truly activates your feminine energy. So tell me, which of these practices will you try today? Comment below the name of the practice to affirm this commitment to yourself. Write it down. Put your intention into words. This is already part of the ritual. You are not alone in this process. We are all together relearning how to feel, how to trust, how to accept ourselves, because true transformation begins this way, one step at a time, with kindness, with truth, and with practice. And when you start practicing this, daily return to yourself, even in small gestures, something powerful begins to happen, almost imperceptible at first, but profoundly transformative. You change your frequency. You become more present, more aware, more open, and this begins to reflect on everything around you. You begin to live with more emotional lightness, as if an invisible weight had been lifted from your shoulders. Situations that previously exhausted you begin to take on a different tone. Relationships become more sincere, more connected, more nourishing. Your communication flows more easily, authenticity, and you start to attract synchronicities, encounters, opportunities, as if life finally started to conspire in your favor. But this is not magic, nor empty mysticism. This is neuroscience and energy. When you activate your feminine energy, you regulate your nervous system, balance your hormones, slow down cortisol, stimulate creativity, and align yourself with your most natural state, being alive, whole, feeling. You are no longer just reacting to the world. You are creating your reality from a deeper, truer place. And the most beautiful thing about this journey is that it doesn't make you become someone different. She gives you back to yourself. It reconnects you with parts of yourself that you may have buried, forgotten, or disbelieved, with that girl who dreamed without fear, with the woman who intuits, who feels, who knows, even when the world says otherwise. This transformation is not a performance. It is not external. It is our connection with your most essential identity. You begin to realize that behind the masks, the roles, the labels, there is an essence of you that has always been there. A strength that doesn't need to shout to be heard. A beauty that doesn't need to be validated to exist. And that is the true power of feminine energy. It doesn't push you out. It calls you back in. It reminds you that you are already everything you seek. That the answer is not in the world, but in your presence, in your feelings, in your body, in your heart. And that is why, when this energy is integrated, you naturally become magnetic, because there is nothing more powerful than a woman at peace with who she is. So, if this journey is touching something inside you, if you feel that the time has come to stop running after yourself and start remembering, comment below, I choose to come back to myself. Write with intention. Affirm this choice, with an open heart, because the simple act of declaring this decision is already a courageous step in your reconnection. You are not alone on this path. We are walking together, and this space here is a constant reminder that there is a new way of living, more intuitive, more conscious, more real. True transformation does not happen all at once. It reveals itself little by little, in the details, in the silences, in the small daily choices. And this choice today, to be here, to listen, to feel, is a portal. You are already in motion. And with each step, with each practice, with each intentional breath, you are remembering who you are, a whole woman, powerful and deeply connected with her truth. The journey continues, and the best is yet to come. Let's go together. And now that we've come this far, I want you to receive these words as a hug to your soul. This is just the beginning. Everything you felt in this video, the memories awakened, the knots untied, the sighs of relief, the "that's it" that sprouted in your chest, are signs that your feminine energy is alive, pulsating, ready to blossom even more. And in the next videos, I will show you how to use this energy in a practical way to transform the most important areas of your life. We will talk about how it directly impacts your relationships, from the emotional to the family, how it can revolutionize your work, bringing you more creativity, purpose, and presence, and how it manifests in your body and in your emotional health, restoring balance, reducing anxiety, and reclaiming the pleasure of simply being in yourself, because this is not just a spiritual journey. It is a daily revolution where you learn to live with more truth, more confidence, and more sparkle in your eyes. If you felt that something touched you here today, if it made sense to you, I want to invite you to continue this journey with me. Click below to subscribe to the channel, activate the bell so you don't miss anything, because I'll be here every week reminding you, with affection and consistency, of the power that lives inside you. It's not about teaching you something you don't have, it's about remind you of what you already know. But perhaps you have forgotten in the midst of the rush, the pressures, the expectations. This is a safe space of welcome, of growth and expansion, and each video is made with the intention of reconnecting you with your essence, of nourishing your presence, of strengthening your voice. Together, we will build a path back home, a path of awareness, of freedom, and of truth. And you can walk at your own pace in your own way, but you never have to do it alone again. This journey is yours, but it is also ours. And before I leave, I want to ask you for one last gesture. Simple, but powerful. Comment below in a power. Write this sentence as a symbolic seal, as an anchor, as a declaration. Because when we write, we materialize. And when many women write together, we create a field of strength, of support, of communion. You are part of a tribe, of a generation of women who are waking up, who are choosing to feel, who are deciding to live with more presence, more beauty, and more purpose. And I am here with you on this journey. So write with intention. Share this video with someone you love and feel needs to hear this today, and get ready, because in the next chapters we will dive even deeper, with lightness, with courage, and always with an open heart. Until the next video, powerful woman, I see you, and I believe in everything you can be.